you find Jesus.
Yeah.
I think that you have a time to humble yourself, and I don't think you got to be behind bars even to find that. You can be in prison living out here in the world. I mean, there's people that's in prison in their mind and so forth of that nature. Any other comments?
Well, look at, yeah, I mean, based on what you just said, I mean, in prison you find God. I mean, look at society as today. A lot of people, until they hit rock bottom, they're not going to change. They're going to continue to sin, do drugs, kill, whatever, because they don't think there's anything that's going to happen to them, or they don't think there's a way out. But once they hit rock bottom, which is usually prison, is when they do change, when they do accept the Lord. I mean, obviously there's several reasons. Number one, there's not much else you can do in prison but pray. When does the majority of I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna say non-Christians, because there's a lot of Christians that aren't saved, but ones that are, when do they pray? When something goes wrong. They don't pray when everything's going good and everything, and they're on top of the mountain, everything's going smoothly.
That's right.
They don't usually pray and seek God until something goes wrong. And that's something with Joseph. You see that no matter what's going on, he still has the faith. He still has faith in Jesus Christ, that nothing's going, even though I'm in prison, it's okay. Everything's going to be all right. God's going to take care of me.
That's right. And Joseph becomes one of the key players in this whole, I don't want to call it game, but this whole thing here, because God is with him and he's blessed.
Of all the movies I've watched, the Old Testament, Joseph is one of my favorites. I watched it several times. It's a good show.
Yeah, I'm watching. I can't think of the pastor's name, but I went to D3 in Dallas, Texas, and he talked about Joseph being in prison and all that, and how solitude a lot of times is where we find our solace, and we're able to connect. I want to say the word personally, or more on a more individual scale with God, and that's what happened to Joseph. Of course, God blesses him and gives him a lot of what we're going to come up to, not today, but tomorrow, when he reads the Pharaoh's dreams and all that. That's one of my favorite stories. A lot of people don't know that story, but 40, Brother Bill, you mind taking 40?
Sure. So you're giving me a short one. All right.
But tomorrow you're going to get a long one, because you're going to start us out tomorrow at 41.
Oh, you already got it planned.
Yeah.
You already got the lineup card ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. My goodness, you're reading.
Joseph interprets 2 dreams. Sometime later, Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and chief baker offended their royal master. Pharaoh became angry with these 2 officials, and he put them in the prison where Joseph was, in the palace of the captain of the guard. They remained in prison for quite some time, and the captain of the guard assigned them to Joseph, who looked after them. While they were in prison, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker each had a dream one night, and each dream had its own meaning. When Joseph saw them the next morning, he noticed that they both looked upset. "Why do you look so worried today?" he asked them. And they replied, "We both had dreams last night, but no one can tell us what they mean." "Interpreting dreams is God's business," Joseph replied. "Go ahead, tell me your dreams." So the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream first. "In my dream," he said, "I see a grapevine in front of me. The vine had 3 branches that began to bud and blossom, and soon it produced clusters of ripe grapes. I was holding Pharaoh's wine cup in my hand, so I took a cluster of grapes and squeezed the juice into the cup. Then I placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand." "This is what the dream means," Joseph said. "The 3 branches represent 3 days. Within 3 days, Pharaoh will lift you up and restore you to your position as his chief cupbearer. And please remember me and do me a favor when things go well for you. Mention me to Pharaoh so he might let me out of this place. For I was kidnapped from my homeland, the land of the Hebrews. And now I'm here in prison, but I did nothing to deserve it. When the chief baker saw that Joseph had given the first dream such a positive interpretation, he said to Joseph, I had a dream too. In my dream, there were 3 baskets of white pastry stacked on my head. The top basket contained all kinds of pastries for Pharaoh, but the birds came and ate them from the basket on my head. This is what the dream means, Joseph told him. The 3 baskets also represent 3 days. 3 days from now, Pharaoh will lift you up and impale your body on a pole. Then birds will come and peck away at your flesh. Pharaoh's birthday came 3 days later, and he prepared a banquet for all his officials and staff. He summoned his chief cupbearer and chief baker to join the other officials. He then restored the chief cupbearer to his former position so he could again hand Pharaoh his cup. But Pharaoh impaled the chief baker just as Joseph had predicted when he interpreted his dream. Pharaoh's chief cupbearer, however, forgot all about Joseph, never giving him another thought. So much for gratitude.
He doesn't give him a thought, but we'll find out later down the road that he remembers. But remember, I said something like either yesterday or the day before about how everybody has a different talent. Well, Joseph's talent was he was able to decipher dreams. And if we'll remember back, he dreamed about the bales of hay and how they would all bow before him. And we'll see how God blessing Joseph with the ability to decipher dreams is going to allow him to realistically be I think it's the number 3 man in charge of all of Egypt. And we're going to see how that story unfolds. I don't want to give it all away, but it's it's truly a story of how you think he's going to die and all that. Because remember, his brothers threw him down in that well and everything, but God blesses him. And when God continues to bless you, it doesn't matter what anybody else does to you, because God's blessing is above it all. Anybody else got anything?
And wouldn't it be interesting if someday Joseph meets up with his brothers again?
Yes. Well, this is like Randy said, this is one of my favorite stories in the whole Bible, because I just think it goes to show you God's wonderful work. And as we're going to get ready to close here, I was going to ask Randy that, but it looks like he got off. I was going to ask him to give some blessing, but anybody got anything else? Great job. We're staying on point. We're staying in that 20 to 30 minute range. So great job, everybody. I appreciate you. We will see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. Caroline's coming home today. And today, me and Ashley are celebrating 31 years. So
yay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
God bless you.
I'm going to work on my sappy post here in a minute. But I'm cooking breakfast. Hey, I love y'all. Let's close in prayer. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for waking us up another day. I want to thank you for enlightening us with your word. I ask that you open our hearts and let us discern it. Lord, most of all, I want to ask for your forgiveness for anything that I have done in life that was against you or what you stand for. I ask that you give me guidance, Lord. Be with all the people that are sick around the world, Lord. I thank you for this great country. I ask that you be with the people that are running it, Lord. Give them discernment and guidance, Lord. Thank you for my children. I ask that you help us lead and guide others, Lord. Open our hearts and help us to feel your presence every single day, Lord. Give us opportunities to share your word. I thank you for this group. I love you so much, Lord. Thank you for your son, Jesus Christ. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
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 Hey,
Amen.
have a great day.
You too.